He's Phillip Rivers. He played in the NFL for 17 seasons and now a high school coach. Look at there. You look good. You look like you're ready to play.
What do you say, Dan?
Could you play right now?
Oh yeah, I'm a little heavier than I was, but I could get through a game. Now I may need a wheelchair the next morning, but oh yeah, I could still play a little bit.
Okay. Did you need to announce, did you retire twice?
No, well, yeah, I don't know, maybe yeah. Um, the reason there was a little bit of a wait is I honestly wasn't. There were a couple November, Decembers there in 2021, 2022, where I was staying ready. I threw on shoulder pads a few times and a helmet and was throwing in the yard and working just in case. And there were a few things that kind of got close. But then the last 2 years is pretty much I've known I've been done. It really just timed. I wanted to retire a Charger and do it right with the Chargers over 16 years. Gates coming up with the Hall of Fame, one of my favorite all-time teammates and locker mate, side by side for 16 years. I was doing some stuff, some video stuff for him, and I was like, "Hey guys, when are we going to do this? I want to retire a Charger. Should we do something on video?" And it just all worked out.
What team or teams called you?
Uh, I knew you were going there. I guess I teed you up for that one, Dan.
You can say it now.
No, I know it doesn't matter. Yeah, well, I think, it was the year that the 49ers had the injuries at quarterback, and before early on, before Purdy really got going, it was there was still probably 6 weeks left in the year, and it was so there was a little interaction I've had there with John Lynch. Certainly kept in contact with the Colts that first year or so out. When the Saints had the injuries, I think they called Drew and I both. I remember being on a phone call with Drew, and it was over Christmas. And it was like the first Christmas I'd been off and not playing. And I was like, I can't believe I'm even considering this. But Drew and I ended up talking about, hey, were you serious? And he was asking me if I was serious. And I was like, it sounds good. It sounds good in theory. But then it's like, man, I felt like the later the season went, I was going to become a guest quarterback. And to me, that just was what ultimately the teams didn't want me to, it didn't get that far to where it was in my control, but I didn't want to be a guest quarterback. You wanted to at least have some camaraderie and some sense of, man, I've been on this journey with you guys at least for half a season. But when it got to the playoffs, it's like, man, you're going to go and play one game and you're either the hero to help them win or you came in and cost them a playoff game. So it just didn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, you could have been a Joe Flacco.
Yeah. Yeah, which shoot, I thought it was awesome. I loved watching Joe and pulling for Joe when he was in that situation.
But take me back to when you came out of college. I remember the knock on you was your arm angle, or how you threw. Like it felt like that was one of those you just didn't throw it the way the other quarterbacks threw the ball. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, no, it is. I think it gradually got less and less awkward. As even as my career went, there is a uniqueness to it, and I appreciate that now. I hear people say, "Oh man, that's how Phillip Rivers threw the ball." So I guess there's uniqueness to it that's ended up being kind of one of my trademarks. But growing up as the son of a coach, I was the ball boy and water boy when my dad was coaching high school ball, 5, 6, 7 years old, and I was throwing a regulation size football. So that's the only way I could throw it. You kind of laid it in your hand and pushed it. And so then as I grew up, as I got bigger and stronger and my hand could reach, there was still an element of that, muscle memory motion that just became my own. And so that's where it was. I remember Norm Chow. We had one of the great offensive coaches of all time in college football at NC State my freshman year. And the first day he watched me practice, he asked me if I was hurt. Is your shoulder is your shoulder bothering you? And I said, no, my shoulder's fine. And he sent the tape off to Mike Holmgren and said, hey, you need to take a look at this. And Coach Chow ended up telling me, Holmgren said, if he's not getting balls batted down and he's accurate, he said, heck with it, leave it alone. And so we did. We did.
How has the position changed? Like, what's the most important part of playing the position?
I still think, and I'm biased, I guess, a little bit. I bet if you asked most pocket passers like myself, they may say this, may not. I still think you got to be able to stand in the pocket and make quick decisions and be accurate with the football and throw it from the pocket on 3rd and 8 in crucial situations on a 2-minute drive. All those things that is still going to be a necessity of playing the position. To me, I think it's a bonus. It's a bonus if you can do the other stuff, like many of these guys nowadays can. The Josh Allens and Lamar Jacksons and Bo Nix has the ability to run. As had an unbelievable rookie year. Obviously Mahomes, and I'm leaving guys out unintentionally, but if you can do those things, it helps you. But you still got to be able to stand in there and make a throw and take a hit right under the chin. Because if you can't do that, if all you can do is just kind of run around and you're a 50% passer, I don't think you can last.
He's Phillip Rivers, NFL quarterback for 17 seasons. Fan base that probably disliked you the most was which fan base?
Probably Denver.
Okay, can I bring in Fritzy is a Denver Bronco fan, and he books
here we go.
all my guests. So Fritzy would always complain that you complain too much, that you whined too much when you play. This coming from a Bronco fan. Would you say that's a fair assessment of you? You were critical of Phillip Rivers whining too much.
Yes, and I hope Phillip agrees. And I got nothing against the guy, but being a huge Bronco fan since I'm like 7 years old, I did see there was a lot of complaining to the officials, a lot of trash talking. Even though he didn't curse, he was always kind, I guess, with his trash talk. But there seemed like a lot of whining was going on.
Okay, Phil.
Yeah. I can see it. I can see it coming across as whiny. It was more a fire and passion and drive to want to win the stinking game, and for the calls to be right, and for the all those things to go. So yes, would it be classified as whining in some cases? I'm sure it would. I'm not proud of every moment. Believe me, there's many that I look at and I go, man, I lost my mind. What was I doing? But there's a lot of it that I laugh at, and then there's a lot of it that I go, man, I hope people realize how much I loved playing. I loved playing just like I was as a kid in the backyard, and I got to do it as a 40-year-old all the way through my 30s, 250 times, and it was truly just how you would be in the backyard, playing with your buddies or brothers and arguing and carrying on and talking smack and all those things.
But you did it in a polite way. Like, how do you talk trash in a polite way?
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily polite. I think sometimes maybe that's what made it sting a little worse. It wasn't the 4-letter words.
Well, wait. How would you talk trash to me if I'm a defensive player, I just sacked you, and I got something to say to you?
I don't. I mean, I was going to say, Dan, I could better do it with you in your role there. I'd be like, Dan, really? You're going to start off the interview at saying I retired twice? I mean, come on. I haven't talked to you in 5 years.
Hey, will you stop whining?
I didn't retire twice, Dan. Ask me something else. Golly. How long are you going to do this, Dan?
How are the kids? What are there, 10 kids now?
Yeah, there's 10, and I got a little grandson. My oldest 2 daughters are married, and my oldest daughter and her husband have a little boy that's almost a year old. So that's a blast. And then the other children are growing up fast. So I have 3 that are out of the house or high school or beyond this year, and then still 7 at home. 3 boys, 7 girls and 3 boys, but they're growing up fast. Man, my oldest son will be the quarterback again this year at the high school. He's a junior, and he's going to have a chance. He's going to have a chance to play at the next level, which is exciting. I was going to say too, back to the throwing motion thing. I threw that way because I think I had a ball, a big ball when I was little. He throws that way a little bit. I don't know if it's just from watching me or if it's just in our DNA, but he's a little more over the top. But when people watch him throw, they go, man, he throws it like you. And I go, well, he did watch me play for his whole life growing up.
Why didn't you teach him how to throw like Brady?
Brady's a little too over the top, It's a little too over the top.
What about Aaron Rodgers?
I like Aaron Rodgers' motion, and he flicks it. He can throw it every different way. Mahomes kind of can throw it every different arm angle. I was kidding about Brady being too over the top, but it's but I think the different arm angles is huge. Is key. It's key to be able to do that because you're throwing it. People think to me the height thing is not as big of a deal. Drew Brees is one of the best ever, 6 foot or so, but it's not as much a height deal. It's ability to throw arm angles. None of us are throwing over 6'6" linemen. None of us are. So you got to be able to throw around and change different arm angles as the pocket, collapses on you or changes.
Phillip is the head coach at St. Michael Catholic High School in Fairhope, Alabama. How would you assess the Chargers this upcoming season with Jim Harbaugh?
I'm interested to see them. They made some additions in the offseason. They got a lot of good young offensive linemen. Obviously, Derwin James is still kind of the captain over there on that defensive side, and Justin Herbert is a heck of a player. They nailed that pick. It was the timing of me to move on and them to get one. They got a good one. So excited to see them this year. Certainly, I still pull for the Chargers. I pull for the Colts. 1 year there, but then also one of my closest coach friends, Shane Steichen, is the head coach there. And then I pull for the Eagles, Sirianni being there. Coach Sirianni I was with him a long time with the Chargers as well. So you find yourself pulling for either coaches you were with or teammates, that are either at the team you were on, or either they're somewhere else. You pull for them on Sundays, and we still watch all day. We go to mass on Sunday morning, and we have games on every TV we can find.
Your longest career run?
Longest career run? Probably, I don't know. I know y'all got the stats in there, Fritzy. What is it, 11 yards?
It's 18.
18-yard run. My favorite run was against the Ravens in the divisional round playoff game, a third down, and I kind of got out of there and got a big first down, and was able to kind of do the first down sign, that you see all the wide outs and backs get to do. I felt like a real athlete. My teammates, Keenan Allen, he was mic'd up on that play, and you can hear him saying, "Do it, do it, do it." He was like proud of me, like I was actually gonna do a little something.
Like a parent watching their kid take their first step. Yeah. But was there somebody slower than you in the NFL at quarterback?
I believe I could outrun Peyton and Brady.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that still makes you slow.
Oh, it does. I definitely wasn't fast.
Roethlisberger?
Ben could run a little better than me. Maybe as he got later in his career, maybe. But no, Ben could run. See, Ben was one of those throwback quarterbacks that could run, and he wasn't going to run for 70, but he had an ability, escapability in the pocket that was unique. I think that certainly helped his game and why he had a lot of success.
If Michael Vick and you ran a 40-yard dash,
that may be one of the fastest men I've ever seen on a football field. We were at the Falcons in 2005, I believe. It was 4 or 5. I wasn't playing. Drew was the starter. I was backing up, and he scrambled left down our sideline and scored with it and ran through the tunnel. And I just remember going, that's just not fair. It's not fair that he can run like that and throw.
Yeah. Let me know if you retire again. We'll have you back on. But if not, good luck with the upcoming high school season.
I appreciate it, Dan. And hey, Fritz, you said I probably did complain and whine, but what made you so mad is we were beating their tail a lot of times.
That's fair. That's part of the reason why I was upset with you. Beat the Broncos too much.
There's the smack talk right there, Dan.
Yeah.
That's not all it is.
Take that, Todd.
Yeah.
That's smack talk.
Very impressive.
Thank you. Thank you, Phillip.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks.
That's Phillip Rivers. That's talking trash.
That's so good.
Take that. Todd, your face when I brought you in on that.
What are you doing?
I know.
You said you weren't going to do
You're
that.
like,
I never said that. I love you.
You bring up Phillip Rivers whining all the time.
True. and he has a good point, because a lot of times he would kick the Broncos' butts, and that makes you frustrated and angry.
Yes, Paulie.
This just into the I-team. Phillip Rivers' career versus the Broncos. 13-16.
Ooh.
Fritzy.
Todd, that was you could have returned fire.
I didn't. I should have done a little research while he was doing his kind trash talk to me.